On Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. The dry spell threatens more than crops. Victoria County farmers say their livelihoods hang in the balance as planting season begins. And state departments are on high alert after more than 100 fires. Crossroads counties issue burn bans as fire danger reaches critical levels. And the Victoria Livestock Show concludes with champion awards and an auction. The community center upgrades planned for next year's event.
And it might be a brand new month, but guess what? We're looking at lots more early warm spring weather with breezy weather just about every day this week before rain chances are back this weekend. We'll talk about all that in weather coming up.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. Local teams hit the diamond this weekend and made some serious noise. We'll show you who came up big in tournament action coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and welcome to your Monday morning, your Texas Independence Day.
That's right, Texas Independence Day. Also, welcome to March.
Yes, we've got March, we've got St. Patrick's Day around the corner, and we're thinking about Texas symbols today, so bluebonnets. Are we going to be able to pick those soon?
You know you're not actually allowed to pick bluebonnets. It's a state flower.
You grow them, though.
I do grow them. I've got lots of them in potted plants in my backyard, but I don't pick any of them unless they're completely dead. It's actually completely illegal, if you didn't know that, to pick a bluebonnet in the beautiful state of Texas. And I mean beautiful. Look how lovely it looks out there this morning. And in terms of our weather, it's also very nice. We're starting out the day 65 degrees out in Victoria County. Dew point a degree off is bringing us the high humidity of 97%, which would technically be enough to see fog. However, this morning we do have a little bit of a wind out there between 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that is providing us with mixing in the atmosphere. So that means there's not going to be as much fog out there as I was expecting this morning, unless you're in the eastern counties of Matagorda or Wharton. We have a little bit of fog reporting over there, so just stay safe on the roads. And our eastern counties, like I said, winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour, providing us with mixing for no fog, but also with some warm weather. All of us are in the mid and upper 60s this morning. So those kiddos heading out the door, they definitely don't need a jacket. We're going to be nice and warm all day long. Those details next.
The dry spell isn't just raising fire danger, it's putting our entire agricultural community on edge. As winter turns to spring, the lack of rain still hangs over local fields. Farmers are planting right now, but one Victoria County grower says without steady rainfall in the next few months, crops and livelihoods could take a serious hit.
So we could be looking at a big devastation on, not only the farmers end, but, the livestock industry, the agriculture industry as a whole. Devastating losses could occur, and, we could be looking at some pretty troublesome times, not just for, farmers, but for the livestock, for all of agriculture.
According to the National Weather Service, the weather station at the Victoria Regional Airport has received about 1.5 inches of rainfall so far this year, but the normal for this time of year should be near 4.5 inches. With rainfall 3 inches below normal, extreme drought conditions exist for much of the Crossroads. The hot, dry, and windy weather in the state has created some dangerous conditions, and recently we've seen a high number of fires statewide. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting spoke with some state departments on the current danger.
State departments are on high alert as we've just finished a stretch of over 100 fires that needed a state response.
When the resources or the incident exceeds the capability of local partners, that's when they can seek out mutual aid from neighboring jurisdictions and make those requests of the state for state assistance.
Several Crossroads counties have issued burn bans due to the hot and dry conditions.
We had like a dry wind that was pretty widespread across the state. And so that dried out our vegetation with the warm temperatures that we're experiencing. All of that combined just kind of created the perfect environment for wildfire activity.
We've seen some major fires here in the Crossroads, including last weekend's Green Lake Fire.
This year, since we are seeing those above normal temperatures, it's just creating a really conducive environment to see kind of these upticks in wildfire activity.
State departments remind residents to stay aware of their actions. The Forest Service noting that 9 of every 10 wildfires are started by humans, mostly by accident.
But we need Texans to also pay attention and do their part. We need Texans to ensure that they have a plan in place for if there is a fire in your community.
Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Sunday marked the final day of the Victoria Livestock Show. Grand Champion Awards were given out to the top show animals in each class. The carnival ended Sunday, but residents will have one more chance to see the show animals and support the students that raised them at the Livestock Show auction today at 4:30. The city is still planning on completing the upgrades to the community center before next year's Livestock Show. Just hours after the U.S. attacks on Iran began, police in Texas responded to a mass shooting in a popular nightlife district, a shooting with potential links to Iran. ABC's Faith Abube has the story.
Gunfire outside a popular bar in Austin, Texas this weekend, now being linked potentially to terrorism. Police say the shooter first opened fire from his SUV at patrons outside the bar.
Oh my God!
Then got out with a rifle and shot people in the street. 2 people were killed, 14 others wounded. People inside sheltering for safety. Sources say this photo obtained by ABC News shows the suspect, a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen originally from Senegal in West Africa. His sweatshirt with the words "Property of Allah." Sources say his undershirt also had the word Iran with an Iranian flag.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
Within 1 minute of the first call for help, police confronting the gunman, fatally shooting him. 3 victims remain in critical condition overnight.
We have families that are at hospital rooms waiting for outcomes from surgery. That's the reality of what we're dealing with today.
And while officials try to determine whether avenging Iran was a motive for this attack, they're also looking into whether the suspect had mental health issues. Faith Abube, ABC News, New York.
The family of Dennis Lee Richardson Jr. is still looking for justice after he was killed by a hit and run. Over the weekend, community members joined for a fundraiser bike rally in his honor. The family says it's been difficult since losing him, but the community coming together has been a positive outcome from their unfortunate situation.
Words can't even explain how I feel. And just to, like I said, to see the support, I couldn't ask for anything better. Of course, still hurt. That pain is never going to go away.
Police are still looking for information on the vehicle that killed Dennis. Those with information can call the Victoria Crime Stoppers line at 361-572-4200. For more local news, weather, and sports, come to crossroadstoday.com. It's now 6:37 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. The Victoria Livestock Show marks 80 years of hands-on learning.
We are learning how long the strikes on Iran could last as the crisis in the Middle East deepens. I'm Marcus Moore in Doha. I'll have the latest coming up.
And also coming up next after the break and the short-term forecast, you heard me say we've got more warm spring weather on the way. So coming up next, we'll look at how warm it'll be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. Also, happy March. It's a brand new month, and we're really quickly approaching the spring equinox, or I guess the spring equinox. Yeah, it's not solstice. That's in summer. Now, we're looking at more warm spring weather to start out the month because of high pressure, which you can kind of see spinning clockwise over the northern portions of Mexico. But you can actually see it better with the cloud deck that is moving right over the ridge of high pressure, which all that means is that's going to bring us more stable weather, more warm, stable weather, which you'll see on the 7-day here in a little bit. But all that is going to change this weekend. Why? We have a mid-level low pressure system way out here in the Pacific spinning counterclockwise, and that right there is going to bring us our rain chances this weekend. I know those are the golden words. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, I promise. Because before the rain gets here, we've got to talk about that warm spring weather. For your Monday, looking at a little bit of cloud cover in the morning time. I think we'll be partly cloudy in the morning, but that'll decrease down to mostly sunny by noon and then mainly sunny for the rest of the afternoon time, maybe a couple passing clouds. So that means pack your sunglasses today, maybe hold on to your hats as well because we'll have a slightly breezy wind, just slightly, gust up to 20 at times in the morning and noon. Afternoon time, we'll see gusts up to 25. So like I said, just a slight breeze. But with winds out of the southeast combined with that sunshine, temperatures will warm. 9 a.m. looking at upper 60s, noontime already about 80, and this afternoon we'll all look at highs in the low mid 80s. And get used to that because it's going to be like that all week long before that rain gets here. And we'll talk about that next.
This past weekend in the Crossroads, our local teams lit up the diamond in tournament action. We kicked things off with the Ganado Indians, who absolutely dominated the Sacred Heart Baseball Tournament and stormed their way to the championship title of the tournament. A huge shout out to the Indians and a statement win on what's shaping up to be a very exciting season ahead. And that same Sacred Heart tournament also featured the Shiner Comanches, and they put on a show. Shiner were undefeated over the weekend, starting with a 8-0 shutout victory against the St. Joseph Flyers in Game 1. In Game 2, the Shiner Comanches stayed hot, knocking Northside Orange 6-2. They still advanced to the silver bracket to face St. Paul, and of course, they dominated. They beat them 5-0. The Comanches now turn their attention to Tuesday when they take off another Crossroads team in Bloomington in district play. And Victoria West was also in the middle of some baseball tournament action this weekend. The Warriors hit the field at Cal Allen Tournament, playing over at Jeans Cass Park Field on day 3. They had an active slate where they battled 2 teams. They opened up against McAllen and took care of business in convincing fashion, cruising to a 9-2 win. And in their final game of the day on Sunday, the Warriors battled hard but came up just short against Sinton in a tight one. Final score 4-2. But still, congratulations to the Victoria West Warriors on competing in the Cal Allen Tournament, and just good luck to those 3 teams mentioned as we get deeper into baseball action. But that does it for your 25 News Now Sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus. There have been new airstrikes today and a rising death toll stemming from the U.S. attack on Iran that killed Iran's supreme leader. ABC News' Marcus Moore has the latest from Doha.
Overnight, President Trump giving new insight into the military action in Iran, telling ABC News the U.S. attacks could last 4 or 5 more weeks. His statement coming just hours after the announcement that 3 American service members were killed during an Iranian attack in Kuwait.
We grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more.
Central Command releasing new video showing the U.S. destroying what appear to be Iranian fighter jets, drones, and ballistic missile launchers, among other military targets. Israel claims roughly half of Iran's ballistic missile launchers have now been destroyed, but Iran is responding. At least 9 people were killed when an Iranian missile hit this Israeli shelter in a synagogue, and at least 5 others were killed across the Persian Gulf states as Iran deployed missiles and drones at military and civilian targets. A drone blasting this residential building in Bahrain. And in Qatar, people running for their lives. You can see the air defense interceptors going into the air in those bright flashes of orange, and you can also hear the loud booms. This is what we've been hearing in Doha all day today. In Kuwait, those 3 American service members who were killed were reportedly part of a unit overseeing supplies and logistics. 5 others were injured. And inside Iran, the death toll is rising, with more than 1,000 people reportedly killed since the U.S. and Israeli attacks began Saturday. President Trump over the weekend justifying the attack.
They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions.
But some question whether Iran posed an imminent threat.
I saw no intelligence that Iran was on the verge of launching any kind of preemptive strike against the United States of America.
And President Trump says the potential leaders of Iran have indicated that they want to talk. And we saw Iran's interim leadership council meeting this weekend, but President Trump did not elaborate on plans for any future U.S. negotiations. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Doha.
The Victoria Livestock Show celebrated 80 years with hands-on learning for children. The petting zoo featured goats, chicks, rabbits, ducks, and pigs, allowing the children to directly interact with farm animals. Inside the exhibit hall, more than 200 children explored career booths from local vendors, including Dow Seadrift Operations. Both the petting zoo and the exhibit hall gave them the chance to explore different career opportunities.
The FFA is an organization that provides both leadership skills and hands-on skills. So I have a big love and passion for FFA and agriculture in general, and so to be able to see our kids be just as passionate and be able to inspire the youth.
Children learn proper animal care techniques while discovering agricultural career paths. The Livestock Show concludes this evening with the auction. To see news happening, or if you see news happening, let us know. Call the number on your screen or send us an email with your tips at staff@crossroadstoday.com. It's now 6:46 on our Monday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. Jackson County tackles heavy littering at a weigh station. Commissioners explore new options after TxDOT denies a gate request. Okay, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Delilah. We love you. That's from Grandma Gloria, Mom, Caleb, and Uncle B and Cindy.
Oh, happy birthday, Delilah. And also happy 11th birthday to Haley. Haley is our birthday cake winner today. Congratulations. Love from Mom, Dad, PJ, and Jacob.
And happiest of birthday wishes to Vincent. May your day be just as special as you are to us.
Oh, happy birthday, Vincent. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com. Just click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, I want to wish my friend Fee a very belated or a happy belated birthday. Her birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
And happy birthday to you if you're celebrating one today.
That's right.
It's now 6:47 on our Monday morning.
That's right. Well, happy birthday, y'all. If you're celebrating, stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. Once again, I hope you're ready for some warm spring weather because we're supposed to be looking at a high of 72 on this date and an average low of 51. We are obviously much warmer than that. Today in Victoria will be 82. That's 10 degrees above the average high, and our low tonight and into tomorrow, Tuesday morning, we'll get down to, I think, 65. That's 14 degrees rather above where we're supposed to be this time of year. And our rainfall under where we're supposed to be. We've, like Carolina said earlier, we've only received 1.5 inches about to date so far, and we are 3 inches under where we're supposed to be. We're supposed to have already had 4.5 inches of rain, which might be coming this weekend. Not 4 inches of rain, but we might see some decent rain this weekend because we've raised chances to a nice 50 and 60% for Saturday and Sunday of this coming weekend. This coming weekend is also Daylight Saving Day on Sunday, so make sure to set your clocks an hour ahead. We're going to jump an hour ahead. And for the rest of this week, before the rain gets here, like I was saying earlier, I hope you kind of get used to the warm spring weather because weather this entire week is going to be about the same. High temperatures in the afternoon getting to the low and mid 80s. Each day this week it'll be a bit breezy. Actually, winds will be picking up throughout the week. Gusts up to 35 on Friday, 30 the rest of this week, and morning lows will be rather warm in the upper 60s and low 70s. Now here is exactly why we are constantly telling y'all to please no burning out there. It's because we have burn bans in effect for like 90% of our counties, and we still have that level 4 out of 5 extreme drought ongoing. All that because we're supposed to be 4.5 inches of rain total to date, which we are not. But this weekend, we are rising our chances because of this low system that's out in the Pacific, going to take a nosedive south, and that's going to bring moisture out of the Pacific to work with rain chances mainly on Saturday right there and on Sunday. And we'll talk about all that and more later on Sunrise.
The Jackson County Commissioners are taking up concerns about heavy littering at the DPS weigh station off Highway 59. Officials say drivers often stop there to rest but leave trash behind, creating a safety issue. DPS asked to install a gate to limit access but cut down on illegal dumping. TxDOT denied the request, citing driver safety concerns. County leaders say they're now exploring other options to clean up the area and protect travelers. Black History Month has come to an end, but communities are still celebrating the accomplishments of those who came before them. This Port Lavaca event was hosted at Drifters Hall over the weekend. Attendees listened to music and heard presentations and poetry that painted the Black experience from the past to the present.
That's the tradition of this. Our legacy lives on. It started in one point in time when there was no legacy, and now it's true. Everybody can do anything they put their minds to. There's no barrier, there's no wall that you can't get around it. We've proven that. And the history, our history is the United States history. Our legacy is the United States legacy. And I thrive on that.
The event was put together mostly by senior citizens in the community. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Tomorrow is your final chance to vote in the primary election. Victoria opened several polling locations for 12 hours of voting. Here's a look at how many people voted early Friday in Victoria. 1,152 people voted in person and 116 mail-in ballots were received. The final early voting totals for the March 3rd primary: 6,820 people cast their ballots in Victoria. That's 12% of Victoria County voters. Early voting for the March 3rd primary is over. Tomorrow on Election Day, polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. There will be 34 voting locations in Victoria open on those hours on Election Day. As Election Day for the March primaries approaches, there are a few elections that have been changed by the new redistricting map. The most notable changes occurred in the U.S. House of Representatives districts. District 15 now includes the crossroads counties of DeWitt, Goliad, Refugio, and Lavaca. Monica De La Cruz is running unopposed on the Republican ticket and will face either Bobby Polito or Ada Cuellar in the November election. For the U.S. House District 27, incumbent Michael Cloud is facing Chris Hatley in the primary. The winner of that election will take on the Democratic nominee, who will either be Tanya Lloyd, Wayne Rosh, or Stock Castro Mendoza. Election day is Tuesday. And the Victoria County Commissioners will meet at 10 this morning at the Victoria County courtroom. They're set to discuss several items on the agenda. One includes considering approval of a request from the Victoria County Fire Marshal's Office to help the Placido Volunteer Fire Department cover an unexpected truck repair bill of just over $1,200. They will also consider approving a lease agreement between Calhoun County, ISD, and the Victoria County Public Health Department's WIC program. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at our forecast with Parker. We're looking for those rain clouds, Parker.
Oh, unfortunately, that's not going to be here until this weekend, but I think we are all looking for those rain clouds. Do you see any clouds at all on the sunrise camera this morning? I don't see any. Funny story about that is I was just looking outside here, outside the station here on Navarro. We're actually mostly cloudy, but out here in county, look at that. It looks mostly sunny out there. So in the morning time, exactly as I promised you, will be partly cloudy, meaning some people will look at sunshine, some will look at some cloud cover. But we're starting out the day in the upper 60s, 67 degrees right now in Victoria, 2 degrees off from our dew point, bringing us some high humidity. So maybe apply some hairspray to combat that humidity. Otherwise, no fog out there this morning, thankfully, but we are all warm, mid and upper 60s. And if you think that's warm, just wait till what's coming later today. 79 for the high in Port Lavaca, upper 70s by noon, and mostly sunny, slightly breezy on the coast. Slightly breezy inland as well, gusts up to 25 at times. Warmer though, 82 in Victoria, and warmer in Cuero, 83 degrees. So y'all get used to that warm weather, because you heard me say it earlier. It's going to be just like that all week long before that rain finally gets here.
I'm going to buy 2 types of sunblock. Yes, I'm going to be ready.
Maybe an umbrella.
Maybe an umbrella. Thank you for being with us this morning. Be sure to join Shauna Dawn, Matt Clovio, and Mac Day for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.